Good morning. Today we are going to see sociological school of law. Okay. What is law according to them? Law is a gift of social needs. Means there will be some problems in the society. There will be some needs of the people in the society, and for fulfillment of those needs and to eradicate those problems, law will be made. That is the main crux, that is the main core of this theory. Okay, relation between the individual, society and the state is always changing, and as it is changing, law is also to change. Okay, society is a living concept, so law is also a living concept. Law is being made to fulfill the needs of the society. Study of society will be must for making of the laws. Without studying the society and its people, its culture and all, if you make the laws will not be followed by the people. They will be of no use. Therefore, study of society, of which law is a part of, is part of that society. Okay, now the term sociology was coined by Auguste Comte. Okay, and many people are there, many sociologists are there who speak about law. They speak of society also. Okay, because law is one of the part, law is one of the institution of society. Now Eyring, what Eyring is telling, laws are only instruments for serving the needs of society. I told you just now, there will be certain needs, there will be certain problems in the society, and they are to be removed with the help of law. Same thing has been told by Eyring. Laws are only instrument for serving the needs of society. Okay. Now another jurist states that, who is Elrich, the real source of law is not statutes but the activities of the society itself. Whatever the activities of society are, for that the laws are being made. Therefore, we can call law as a living law as per him. Okay, the real source of law is not statute but the activities of society. Now, we'll take an example. If in the society some evil custom is there, then people demand, people speak against it, and Parliament passes a law. We'll take an example of Dowry Prohibition Act or Sati Prevention Act. These laws are passed for what? To eradicate certain evil customs. So whatever the activities of the societies are, according to that, law is being made. Okay. Now in sociological school, we are mainly going to discuss Ruscio-Pond. He was from Harvard Law School. He is called as an unchallenged chief of the school. According to him, what he says, sociological jurisprudence should ensure the making, interpretation and application of laws, and while doing that, you have to take into consideration the social fact. Sociological school, the main objective of the school is what? According to Ruscio-Pond, that while making of law, while interpretation of law and while application of law, we have to consider the social facts. Okay, sociological aspects should be taken into consideration. They are very much important while making of the laws. While explaining this, what he has done, he is telling, with the help of law, we are going to form a very good society. You can call it as a civilized society, and therefore he has mentioned certain principles which are called as jural postulate. What are jural postulate? Those are certain principles which are to be followed in the society. Means with the help of principles, a society will be called as civilized. Okay, we'll see some of the principles, or we'll see some of the jural postulate. Society as a whole will bear the risk of unforeseen misfortune such as disablement and other things. Some contingencies, when it happens in our society, it is a state, it is a society as a whole, they will come forward and they will bear the risk of it. Okay, people with whom we deal will carry out the undertakings in good faith. Means when we enter into contract or agreement with the other, the promises, the contracts are to be fulfilled. We can assume that. Means when I am entering into contract with you, I will enter into it in good faith, and you also can assume that I will fulfill the contract. This is one of the presumption that contracts will be fulfilled. Okay. Now, people will not commit any intentional aggression upon him. Him means the person. Means I can assume that you will not interfere into my privacy, into my life. I will be able to enjoy my own life. Others will act with due care and will not cast unreasonable risk of injury. Whenever you are doing certain things, you will take care that the others are not affected. Simple postulate he has mentioned. Jural postulate provide for what? Certain guidelines on which the civilized society, civilized life will be established. Every society has certain basic assumptions and presumptions upon which the whole society is based, and that is called as a jural postulate. Okay, one last postulate we'll see. In civilized society, men must be able to assume that others will not commit any intentional aggression. In civilized society, men must be able to assume that they will control for the beneficial purposes whatever it is being discovered. Means if I discover certain things, it will be used for the benefit of the whole society. I owe something to the society. I am born, I am brought up in the society, therefore I owe to the society. These assumptions are being mentioned. Okay. Now with the help of the jural postulate, we are going to establish as per Pond a civilized society, and he states that certain interests are to be recognized. Now what are interests? The interests are claims and demands. I will have certain demands, I will have certain desires towards you. I will expect that you will behave with me in a certain pattern, in a certain manner. That is called as an interest. Okay. He states that we have to recognize some interest. To achieve the purposes of the legal order, these are to be recognition of certain interests. There has to be recognized certain interests. If you want peace in the society, legal order in the society, certain interests are to be protected, and those are three interests: individual interest, public interest, and social interest. Okay, now we'll see the first, that is individual interest. What is individual interest? From the individual standpoint, I am having certain desires, I am having certain claims, and those should be fulfilled. Okay, these are claims or demands or desires involved in and looked at from the standpoint of individual life. Okay, being an individual, what claim I have? That I will have freedom of will, I will have freedom of opinion, I will have freedom of certain beliefs, isn't it? I will have the right relating to domestic relations. That is, as I protect myself, I can protect my parents and children and husband. Means domestic relations are to be maintained and they are to be protected. As domestic relations are to be given importance, that is my claim. Similarly, I am having interest of substance also, that is property and all. When I am doing some job, then I am having a interest that my job will continue. My employer will not fire me at any time by his choice. Okay. Now these are certain interests, these are certain claims and demands from individual point of view. Okay. Now the second interest is what? Public interest. These are the claims or demands or desires asserted by individual involved in or looked at from the standpoint of political life. As I am having my own individual life, similarly I am having a political life also, and that is what? My state, my country. I want to protect my reputation. Similarly, I want to protect my country's reputation also. State's responsibility, honor of the state personality, isn't it? I am having some responsibility towards my state, towards my country. So I want to protect the honor of my country. That demand, that claim is relating to, or can be called as, public interest. These are the interests and the claims from the standpoint of political life. Examples which what we can take: integrity, freedom of action, and honor of the state personality. Okay. Now the third interest is social interest. These are the claims or demands or desires thought in the terms of social life and generalized as claims of social groups. As I am having my own claims and my own interests. Similarly, being a member of a society, the society is also having certain claims. From social point of view, as a group, I am having certain claim. And what is that? Law and order, peace, tranquility, isn't it? Security of social institutions, domestic institutions, protection of religious and political institutions. These are my demands from social viewpoint. Okay, now these three interests are there. Now these three interests are to be recognized and protected by the state and in the society. Okay, now while explaining these interests and all, what he has mentioned, individual interest and other interest, many a time they will come into conflict, they will have a tussle, and in the tussle there will be friction, there will be problems in the society. So the lawyers and the judges have to do the work of social engineer to remove the friction, to minimize the friction. So his theory is also called as social engineering theory. He says that as an engineer takes care of his machine, he sees that the parts of the machines are properly lubricated so that there will be no friction. The machine will not be affected. Similarly, we have to see that our society should not be affected. It should remain civilized. So it should remain civilized. Therefore, what we have to do? We have to see that the frictions are being reduced. And that work, that task is being given by Ruscio-Pond to the lawyers and the judges. Aim of social engineering is to build as efficient a structure of society as possible, which requires the satisfaction of maximum wants with the minimum of friction and waste. It involves the balancing of competing interests. It is a task of the lawyers and the judges to balance the interests of the society and individual, and to assist the courts by classifying on the interests protected by the law. Okay, means the interest, that is the individual interest, and the social interest will come in tussle. Therefore, there should be made a balance. Proper balance should be made so that the friction will be reduced. We'll take an example. Land is being acquired by the government for public purposes, for construction of dam and all, or for some any public purpose. The land is being acquired. This is for the public. This is for the people. Therefore, this is a social interest. But my land is acquired, means my individual interest is affected. Therefore, individual interest and social interest, they come in tussle. So, what the judge has to do? Judge has to compensate the individual in a proper manner so that the tussle is reduced. This is the work which he has given it to the lawyers and the judges. Every individual in civilized society must be able to take it for granted that he will appropriate, he will, if from him something has been taken away, then he will be properly compensated. This is the theory of social engineering of Ruscio-Pond. Okay, however, Ruscio-Pond's theory has been criticized. He has used the word engineer. They say that it is very mechanical to be used for whom? For the lawyers, and the work of the judges. It is mechanical. Lawyers are dealing, judges are dealing with human beings who are living concepts. Okay, they have their own views, they have their own emotions and all, while the machines don't have these kind of things. Okay, therefore, the word engineer which he has used is of very mechanical aspect. Second criticism is what? A judge is not comprising conflicting interests and trying to conserve as many wants as possible. He is not merely an umpire. He is not a balancer to balance this. He is there to decide right and wrong. Which interest is right, which interest is wrong. For that he is there. He is not a balancer. He is not merely an umpire presiding over a fight between the plaintiff and the defendant and trying to reach a decision that will satisfy as much possible of the demands of each. He is judging the right. He will decide in the favor of right. Therefore, the balancing metaphor which Ruscio-Pond has used, he has told to balance. No, it can't be balanced. Judge is not there to balance. If two interests are to be balanced, that presupposes some scale with reference to which are to be measured, and Ruscio-Pond is not providing for any kind of scale. See, an engineer, when he is told to construct a building, when he is told to construct a bridge, he is having a plan before him. Now, Pond is telling the judges and the lawyers to remove the friction and all, and to create peace in the society, to create a civilized society, to satisfy the demand, the interest of the people. He is telling the work to be given to the judges and the lawyers, but they are not having a plan of a society, that how the society should be. Okay. Therefore, construction for a best bridge, it is guided by a plan of the finished product. But with law, there can be no plan worked out in detail of any finished product for society. Why? Because the society is constantly developing and changing, and the pressures behind the interest are also changing. Therefore, the theory of engineering, social engineering, propounded by Ruscio-Pond is not proper. Okay, but though whatever it has been criticized, this theory has been contributed, because many of the judges, they really see the interest, the individual interest, the social interest. They consider what is right and what is wrong, and accordingly they decide the right. Means they try to remove the friction. Therefore, judges do work as a social engineer. Many activist judges, they do work as a social engineer. Okay, bye bye. We have seen here the sociological school, and more specifically we have seen the social engineering theory of Ruscio-Pond. Okay, bye bye. See you in the next video.